I'm Jeremy with Offensive Group for the Armory Life. Every time I step out of my comfort zone or challenge myself, I really learn a lot and I grow and I gain knowledge on the subject matter that I'm very interested in. Therefore, I've recently adopted the motto, do hard shit. It may sound crude, but it's a way for me to not take the easy road and to really challenge myself to live the life that I want to live. This motto was tested again over a recent weekend. As I was about to return from vacation, a buddy of mine texted me and invited me to participate in an accurized AR match that was happening in 2 days. I thought about all the reasons why I should just respond, maybe next time bro, but that was the easy way out. So I just responded, sure. I figured this was the perfect opportunity to test out the Saint ATC in an environment that I was very unfamiliar with, but I think the gun should be able to shine in. The only problem is I didn't have a zeroed optic on it and I had no dope for that specific rifle. If you're not familiar with dope or data on previous engagement, it essentially means that at X distance you should dial your optic for X mils or MOA or do that hold to make that shot. You might think dope is easily interchangeable and pretty simple, but it's actually very, very in-depth and it changes with caliber, with the different bullet grain, with the barrel lengths, with different powders. Basically, just about everything can change your dope. So you really need to dial that in and figure out what that dope is for your rifle and your specific bullet to make sure that you're hitting accurate shots. When I first got my Saint ATC, I made some 0.4 inch groups at 100 yards using 77 grain bullets. So I figured my best chance of success was to dig into my beloved supply of Black Hills Mark 262 ammo. The next day I met my buddy at a range. I put on the Leupold Mark 5 3.6 to 18 and we zeroed the optic for the rifle. He also gave me his dope for his 16-inch suppressed AR-15 that he runs 77 grain through. Then I used a ballistic calculator and I took his dope and I kind of made up my own dope that I hoped would get me in the realm of success. The match consisted of 5 stages, 5 to 7 targets per stage from 2 to 700 yards. Each stage required about 8 to 10 hits in 90 seconds, with 20 rounds max to fire. There was a total of 75 shooters for the match in different divisions. I signed up for open division, which meant there were no restriction on bipods, bags, or optics. The morning of the event, I showed up as prepared as I could be, excited and a little nervous, but really ready to show up and learn some things and have a new opportunity. Thankfully, all the people in my squad of 15 were super nice and very helpful. Spotters were calling adjustments and hits, people were sharing information and gear, and it was really welcoming and an easygoing match. As I watched the other shooters ahead of me, they were all using a specific type of shooting bag that I didn't own, but keeping with their generous spirit, a buddy of mine let me use his to try out. I also noticed nearly everyone had their own method of either dialing for one of the targets and then using holds, or just using holds for all 3 targets. Holding refers to using the little tick marks on your scope below your reticle, rather than dialing the adjustments with your turrets. I've mostly only shot distance dialing, so holding was a bit new for me. I was feeling pretty good until I was next in line to shoot. Then my mind just started going through all the things that I was unprepared for. But before I could get all spun up, my name was called and it was time to shoot. Deep breath. Let's just have fun. The timer went off and I fell into the sport. At first, it was a little hard for me to find the targets quickly in the distance, but as I started making my hits, I gained confidence in my ability. To my surprise and satisfaction, I completed the first stage in under the 90 seconds allotted. After the first stage and having experienced a taste of the match, it was much easier to shake off the nerves and just enjoy the process of learning. My goal from the very start was to kind of end up in the middle of the pack, and I'd be happy with that for my first match. Heading into the 5th and final stage of the match, I was only down 3 targets from timing out on a stage. I was feeling pretty good, and my rifle setup was performing flawlessly. Besides, of course, my shoot and pray dope, since I was holding, it was really hard to get an accurate representation of the dope throughout the day, but it was working well enough. The final stage was starting prone and then moving to a suspended platform that moved when you shot. For the last 4 stages, I was using my buddy's shooting bag, so I grabbed it for my prone setup. But once I got into position, I realized I should have used mine that I'm used to. I was having a tough time getting the bag set up under my stock, and I ended up dropping 4 targets on that last stage. But that's competition. You learn so much by having these experiences, and now I know a lot for next time. I also feel like I made a lot of new friends that I'm excited to shoot with next time. As far as the gear went, the Leupold optic was tack sharp, and the TMR reticle was easy to pick up for my holds. The throw was smooth for quickly finding targets. The ATC was a bit of an eye catcher. In the lineup of black AR-15s, the Coyote Brown ATC really stood out. Between stages, quite a few of my squad members would come over and handle the rifle and comment on the unique design. Much of the feedback is they wish the rifle included an ARCA rail, but beyond that, they were pretty impressed. A couple hours after the match, the results were posted and I made 16th out of 36th. It's about middle of the pack, that's where I hope to be. The competition was fierce. The difference between 1st and 7th was only 3 points. Overall, I'm really happy that I decided to just wing it and go for the match. It took a lot of mystery and nerves out of shooting competition and showed me a different world where people were super accepting, very positive, and just out there to really have a good time like myself. I look forward to progressing and getting that placement in the top 10 next time.